Okay, so I've just turned the GoPro on and I am getting ready to do my loop so that I know where to sync up the video. So I'm just going to do my U-turn. It's good, it shows up on Strava this way, and it's time to get into it. I don't know exactly where the segment starts, but I know it's just around the corner here. Just checking the GoPro's going. It was, and I was hoping that it was going to record to the top, which it did, thankfully. Time to pedal, time to get into it, bring up the power, and hit it basically. Hit it before the segment starts. Always good to travel into it at a good speed. You can see 35k an hour. And it starts somewhere here, I believe. Excuse me. Somewhere here, and it kicks up quite quick. The first section isn't all that steep, but everybody knows who's ridden up it where it starts to get real steep. As you can see, power's good. I was aiming to hold 430 up here. My previous best was 407 average in April, I think it was. So if I could sit somewhere around 430, especially for the steep section, I find it's a whole lot easier to hold the power up there. This first bit, which is probably 500 meters to a K, I don't know how long exactly, is a little bit harder because it's still definitely uphill, but it's slightly flatter than the steep section. As you can see, power's good, 450 at some stage, 440. It was quite steady. If you want to check out the Strava file, I'll put it in the description, you can check it out. Anywhere over 400's nice, but yeah, aiming to hold 430. Gradient even 9% now, so it is decent. And I do have my 40 cassette on this bike. I'm riding the Roubaix, so my carbon roadie, not the Cannondale touring bike. I want to set a good time up here, and there's only one bike to do it. It's this one, the Roubaix. Weather was good. I wanted to go out the day before, but it was rainy, and if you want to do any decent hill efforts, I find there's no point even doing it when it's wet. You're just not going to get the time that you want. So going up here when it's dry is the ticket. And the wind was light. The wind was kind of just changing around that day. Didn't really have any effect, and especially with all these trees around. Coming up shortly, a few more bends, and it really does kick up. You'll see the gradient go up and my speed drop. But it's a real nice climb. Not very busy. The odd car coming up or down, but not many people drive up or down this road because it's not really direct to anywhere. It's just up to Scenic Drive. Still happy with the power. Nice seeing 440s. It'd be awesome one day to hold 440 or close to 450 up here. I think I'll be able to do it at some stage. So prior to this, yes, the day before of this effort, I ran a half marathon in 1:48. So my legs were definitely not in tip-top shape, but they still perform well, which I was quite surprised with. I did go 9 seconds quicker than my previous best on this effort, which I thought was awesome. So this bit, it flattens out a little bit, 7% you can see, and around this bend it turns to the right. It definitely ramps up. Yeah, as the sign says. 5%, so it flattens out. Power's dropping a little bit, definitely harder to hold a little bit, but it's nice. I like the changing gradient, I find it good. Really mix it up and keeps you looking at your power meter and trying to hit the target numbers basically. Cadence is decent. It's easy with the 40. I think a lot of people do come up here on way smaller cassettes, and you can see by cadence numbers, whereas the 40s, it's good. I was changing between the first 3 gears, so the 40 and then the 2 smaller than that. Here is the steep section now, so you can see the road kind of narrows, and the gradient should be going up. Yeah, 9%, 10%, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's definitely easier to hold the power here because you've just got that resistance, and the resistance is steady almost into the top basically. There's a flatter section at the top, but this bit is just, I reckon it's the hardest hill in Auckland City. There is one other called TLT Ridge Road out near Bethells, which is definitely steeper, but it's not nearly as long. This is 3.16k long at average gradient of 9%. The fastest time up here is 10 minutes and 7 seconds, which is just insane. My time for the day was 13:23. And that puts me at 54th overall out of 869 people that have been up here. I definitely think I could go quicker. I had a full water bottle on, I had my pump, a tube, my phone, and yeah, you can ditch all that stuff and definitely probably go a little quicker. If you want all the seconds to make them count, then you make your bike as light as possible. I'd love to do it one day just with wearing bib only and nothing on the bike. I will do that at some stage, and I'll definitely have the GoPro on again. I want to do more videos like this, and I will do more videos like this up more of the hill climbs out in the Waitakere Ranges. Back to the numbers, 16%, so you can see it definitely is steep here. 17 even. There is a slightly flatter sections coming up to the entrance to one of the waterfalls that you used to be able to go walking in. I think it's all blocked off now. Speed is slow, 10 to 15 odd k an hour. I think the fastest average speed up here is 18k an hour, which is, there was the 10:07. It's just nuts. If you ride up this and think about how fast 18k an hour is, it's nuts. But if you're in Auckland, definitely come check it out. So you just follow Henderson Valley out and it'll link you up to Mountain Road, take you up to Scenic Drive. So cadence is definitely lower than what I typically would like, but with this kind of gradient, you're always going to kind of expect that even with the 40. If you can't hit the ideal numbers with the 40, then you're kind of out of options on a road bike. Almost. But my legs were going quite good. I thought this is a kind of probably about halfway up it now, and still going good. Didn't really feel like giving up, or didn't really feel like I was going to crack 3/4 in or anything like that. The legs were surprisingly decent. No other cyclists came up or down while I was going up it. I don't think I've ever really seen any other cyclists going up or down whilst riding it, unless you're riding with friends. Yeah, the odd person will go up or down, but there was only about 4 others, I think, on the day that I did it. I checked Strava later on in the day. Someone has Everested it too, which, it's a good hill. Just an absolute wall, which is ideal. It's a gnarly descent though. I remember coming down once and there was 2 cars which kind of met in between, and because it's so narrow they had to slow down, and I almost went to the back of the car because they'd slowed down to almost a stop to get past each other. But as you can see, the weather is perfect for this. There's the odd wet patch on the road, but you're never going to get it perfect. The rest of it is all nice and dry and grippy, and certainly if you're standing, then you're going to slip the back wheel and just waste time, waste power, waste grip basically. But I did the whole thing seated, and the reason I did the whole thing seated is for the GoPro footage. I didn't want to shake it around, and it's more efficient if you do. It feels nice to stand up every now and then, but did it seated, and I think it was good. Nice steady power, and slightly better footage. Hopefully you appreciate that. So there's a few little slips that have happened, but nothing major. The road's still decent enough. As I say that, there's a few gouges out of the road, but it's pretty good really. Can't complain. Nice bush, nice fresh air, ideal really. Still 16%, so it's definitely still in the steep section. Number's still good, 430. It's hard to know because the power drops, look, you can see at 380, 370, but then I spend a lot of time well above 400 as well, so It's always interesting to go and check back on Strava and see what the average is. So I thought my average would have been 420 something, but it was a little bit less. It ended up being 414. But as I mentioned, I want to go up there fresh, maybe with at least a day, maybe 2 days off, and no running prior. I reckon I could, I don't like making bold claims, but probably 20 to 30 seconds I reckon I could take off. I'll try and do it, and that way back up what I say. So cadence is quite low actually. I didn't really pay attention to it at all riding up it. It was just trying to hit the numbers basically, and if I saw the power dropping, then I'd click up or click down and click up a gear to make it harder, so long as the legs still felt like they could push. And single digits on the speed, 7k an hour, but still decent numbers on the power, 445, always nice to see. And you can, when you know it decent enough, mountain road, you see this big tree up to the right, and that's an indicator that the steep section is almost out of the way. Nice view if you want to stop and have a look out to the right. I was not interested in that. I was interested in getting to the top ASAP. But yeah, it's such a nice road. If you want to cruise up it, you can, but yeah, either or, full gas or cruising, it's both good. It's a good true test, this hill. I haven't done it all that many times, but when you're feeling good and you want to let rip, it's the one to do it on. So power's still decent. I think we're going, it looks like it. It's easy to tell when you're riding it, but yeah, we're almost at the top of this steep section now. You can see by the map as well, it certainly gets less windy and also flattens out. I find it quite hard to really nail the power after a steep section. When it flattens out, you got to change into the big ring, and it's hard. You'll see the numbers, they get sad shortly. But 450 going up to top, this is the big tree that you can see from a while back. So we got one left turn here, and you'll see the gradient drop off significantly. It flattens out, it even dips just slightly. Here we go, it's dropping way back, and power's just crap. 360, 3%. So yeah, here's a slight little dip, so it really does flatten off. And as you can see, speed is way up now because it's certainly flatter, and I'm just going all out. Even 200s on the power, no good. It's kind of a little bit up and down toward the end, but this is where the segment goes, and it's not a little sprint at the top. It's a good section, so it still requires you to really be on it basically. But I know it's real close to finishing now. I'm almost at the end. Unfortunately, the segment finishes right where the road ends, and it finishes at a T-junction, so I actually drop off the power completely and stop pedaling, because you have to stop, because if you just go out into the road, then chances are you're going to get hit by a car, and I don't want that. So, but yeah, just sprinting for the line now, 580 even. And this is coming to the end of the road now. You'll see the power and everything. I'm basically just going nuts right till when I think I can brake, and as you can see, still doing 30k an hour, and I just jam the brakes on, stop pedaling, make sure there's no car around the corner, and stop just up here, because I was toasted at that stage and I hadn't had any food. But that's me done. I had my bananas after that, and I was a happy boy.